In this beading tutorial, we'll go over how I created this beautiful bracelet design using 2-hole slider beads as a focal bead, a fold-over magnetic clasp to finish off the design. These two 2-hole slider beads were the inspiration of this design. If you're new here, I work with 2-hole slider beads and fold-over magnetic clasps, creating beautiful jewelry designs. I do beading tips, tricks, and tutorials here on social media. For this bracelet design, we will start at the fold-over magnetic clasp, and I always loop the string through the clasp, and I do one side of the bracelet design at a time. I created 2 bracelets within this tutorial. Both of them are the exact same design but have different focal beads. This is because I wanted to do one with fishing line and one with flexible beading wire. The technique for both of these bracelets is going to be exactly the same. I start out the exact same way by putting the string through the loop of the clasp, and then I start stringing up the bracelet design. The first beads to be strung are seed beads. I use 3 seed beads and I put both strings through both holes. Then you add the first rondelle, putting both strings through those holes too. Now it's time to separate the strings and start creating these little loops that I created up the sides of the rondelles. Add 6 seed beads to one string. Do not add anything to the other strand. Take the strand with the seed beads and loop it around and put it up through the bottom side of the rondelle. This can be done with either the fishing line or the flexible beading wire. This very simple technique can add a little bit of complexity to your jewelry design without having complexity to your beading. We are going to continue to complete this process over and over again to create that design. So for the next step, I will add this tiny silver bead and then another rondelle. Put both strings through both of those beads. At this point, your design should look a little bit like this. Again, we just repeat the process. So we'll split the strings and add 6 seed beads onto one strand and nothing onto the other. Then you'll loop the seed bead string up through the bottom of the rondelle again to create that loop. Add a silver bead and rondelle to both strands again. And we're off to create the third loop, which is the exact same process. Split the strings, add 6 seed beads, and loop it around to the bottom of the rondelle. This very simple beading technique adds a little bit of style or flair to your bracelet design. At this point into the design, I then add some silver beads to split the strings into a double strand to go into the focal bead, which is a 2-hole slider bead. This is the first of 2 focal beads that I'll be adding to this bracelet design. You'll put both strands through both holes on both sides of the focal bead and then add some center beads. Next, you'll add the second focal bead, and you'll only put the strands through 2 of these holes because you'll use the other 2 for the other half of the bracelet. This is where these 2 designs actually differ because I used flexible beading wire for one and fishing line for the other. For the fishing line example, I tie a knot in the back of the focal bead to finish off this side of the bracelet design. For the flexible beading wire version, I use crimp beads in the back of the design to hold everything together on this side of the bracelet, and then I start the other side for both of the designs. I remove the other side of the clasp and then I start this process entirely over. You'll start with another strand of either flexible beading wire or fishing line, put the string through the clasp, and then start stringing up the beads. I start out with 3 seed beads and a rondelle where I then split off the 2 strings. Add 6 seed beads to only one strand and then loop it around and put it through the bottom of the rondelle to create that loop effect on the side. The design pattern for this side is exactly the same as the other side, but I thought I'd go through the motions just one more time. Then you add both strands through a silver bead and a rondelle and start the process over by taking one strand and adding 6 seed beads. Loop it around to the bottom of the rondelle and pull it through. By doing this loop, the both strands will be coming out the top of the rondelle where you'll add another silver bead and the next rondelle and start the process one more time. Split the strands, add the 6 seed beads, loop it around and go up the bottom of the rondelle, and you're done with this process. Now we're to the point where we add the additional silver beads to make the double strand that will go into the focal bead, which is a 2-hole slider bead. This is basically where I attach both halves of the jewelry design to make this bracelet design. Depending on if you're using fishing line or flexible beading wire will depend on if you use crimps to finish it off or not, just like the other side. Then I'll use clippers to clip off any of the tails left over from the knots or the crimps. And that's it. This bracelet can be designed and done in just a few minutes. Of course, you can get a completely different look if you swap out the different seed beads and rondelles. These fold-over magnetic clasps make it really easy to get your bracelets on and off. And again, with this design, the focal beads are 2-hole slider beads. If you're interested in purchasing 2-hole slider beads or fold-over magnetic clasps, the link is in my bio.